Hello everyone, welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Thursday, February 19, 2026, and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warid Ahmed, and for today's headlines, the Gulf-backed OpenAI is targeting a $850 billion valuation in a historic $100 billion funding push. Abu Dhabi's Mubadala has doubled its investment in a Bitcoin ETF to $630 million, and Saudi's Humain has invested $3 billion in xAI Series E funding round. I think that for today's show, it definitely is all about artificial intelligence. And, what we're seeing right now with that AI summit in India is just absolutely hilarious. So you have all of these tech CEOs all standing
on the stage.
And you have, from what I saw, I know that there was the vice president of Microsoft. I believe he's Brad Smith. I saw that there was Sundar Pichai.
Yes.
And you also see the OpenAI CEO, Sam Altman, and
Hand in
Dario
hand with Narendra Modi.
Why are they? First of all, I want to know something, Majid, because I don't really understand, to be honest with you, the South Asian context going on. Why are they raising their hands up and why are they holding hands? Mind you, Sam Altman refused to hold the Anthropic CEO's hand, and it was so
His
hilarious.
hand was alone. The main idea is it's a cultural plus political context. In Pakistan, I think a lot of the world, not even in Pakistan, the victory sign or celebration is like this, right? So Mr. Modi, who is the Prime Minister of India, his third term as the Prime Minister of India, he's very big on AI. He's trying to get $100 billion, what he said at the AI conference. It's a government-backed initiative. That is why this conference has so many big people coming in, because they can afford to obviously put them in hotels.
I saw Queen Rania in India recently.
Yeah, a lot of people go to India now. Apple also went to India to produce iPhones, and then Trump put so many tariffs, and then they now are moving again back to China or somewhere else. But the idea is that India is a big growing superpower when it comes to money. There is poverty. You see a lot of movies where they show that. I think Slumdog Millionaire was one example.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, but they have a Silicon Valley of sorts, which is Bangalore. Bangalore is the exporter of the highest number of, if I remember correctly, computer science engineers in the world. The most number of computer science engineers in the world come out of there. And Silicon Valley, any Indian that you find in the Silicon Valley in America would be from Bangalore. So it's that big.
I didn't know this, Majid.
Yeah, the global
Good
freelance.
find.
They are neighbors,
It's
so I
like-
know the numbers because of that.
It's like it's their own Silicon Valley in India, where everyone is coming out of it.
Bangalore is so big. I'll give you just one example. India-Pakistan ties are very always in doldrums. They're never good friends. They're always fighting. But Pakistan has a lot of Indian companies producing software for Pakistani companies. How do they do that? They come to Dubai, they set up an office in Dubai, and then they're like, oh, Dubai-based company, and then they work out of here. So Pakistan can do business with a Dubai-based company on paper, but they can't do work with an Indian company on paper. So Indian companies, at one of the offices in Business Bay, I met a person, he was like, oh, we made the software, basically the ticketing softwares that you see, the people doing the stuff for you when you buy a ticket.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we made the ticketing software for the theme park in Karachi. I was like, which theme? Bahria Town. I said, oh, Bahria Town, yeah, there's a water park, there's a theme park, there's this. He's like, yeah, they use our software and we provide end-to-end capabilities for everything. I was like, you're an Indian company. He's like, yeah, we registered in Dubai, and we're like, okay, we're working with a Dubai-based company.
This honestly sort of reminds me of Builder AI.
Yeah.
And how, the entire ruse was exposed. We found out that no, it was not AI that was doing all the work. They actually hired engineers in India. I was speaking to somebody at Step Summit, Majid, and what they told me was so insane. They were like, oh my God, we got the Builder AI founder on our podcast, so cool.
Okay.
And I'm like, hold up, did they not get banished from AI society in their own way?
Still is the founder.
And then they were like, we had to go through so many levels of PR to get to them. And I'm like, they still have the money to hire PR? It's interesting. It's interesting what's going on there. But I did yesterday on the feed, and it's about the Al Khayat brothers,
Yes.
the billionaires that are behind Baladna, the main milk distributor in Qatar. And I found out that, which was to my surprise, that they own so much real estate in London,
Yeah.
right? Across
And you have money, you
Knightsbridge,
have something somewhere,
Mayfair.
always.
No, but it's so interesting too, Majid, because so many claims have come along saying that Qatar owns more money than the actual UK monarch in the country. And so to see that these brothers, who are very closely linked to the Qatari royal Athani family, and they've almost kind of followed the same trail.
Yeah.
And we see that, and that's in them owning so much property in London. But I think for me, what was even more funnier is I mentioned the story to my family. I was like, guys, do you know about these brothers that airlifted 4,000 cows to Qatar in 2017 when they needed milk and it was being blocked off? And you know what they told me, honestly? Because I showed them the Bloomberg piece and what we've been doing on Smashi Business. We recognized the protagonist a long time ago, I must say. And you know what my family said, Majid? They were not surprised. They're like, by the way, Ward, right before it was Baladna, it was something called Halib Kabu. Halib Kabu is the brand that was developed in Sudan by Osama Dawood. And they were just before Baladna started, and you had these two brothers who brought in the 4,000 cows, it was actually Osama Dawood who was taking milk to Qatar. And it was that brand, it was Kabu milk. And I was shocked. I'm like, so this is why you guys know the story. Because obviously if you have Baladna, Kabu then is going to get sidelined. But I was just thinking about it since we were both speaking about our home countries. But it's interesting how these dynamics works and how you have these hidden hands and organizations that you don't know about. But right now, OpenAI, it is not making any hidden statements. It is going for exactly what it wants, and it is going to become the largest, it's going to be a part of the largest private fundraising in history, with a round expected to exceed $100 billion and push its valuation beyond $850 billion. Now, the first phase is led by SoftBank Group, Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, anchoring the deal with major technology capital.
And Gulf Capital is expected to feature more prominently in the next phase. Abu Dhabi's MGX is already a direct investor, participating in a $6.6 billion secondary sale that valued OpenAI nearly $500 billion, and partnering with SoftBank and Oracle on the Stargate infrastructure project.
Now, Qatar Investment Authority Corporation agreements with OpenAI, but no equity stakes. Instead, it has invested heavily in rival AI labs, including Anthropic and xAI. And Saudi Arabia's Humain maintains hosting arrangements for OpenAI models, reflecting infrastructure alignment rather than direct capital ownership.
And the fundraising underscores how Gulf sovereign wealth has embedded itself in the global AI race. Capital is increasingly paired with cloud access, compute scale, and data center expansion, positioning regional investors as structural players in next-generation computing rather than passive financial participants.
Now, if completed at the anticipated valuation, OpenAI would move within striking distance of a $1 trillion private benchmark. The second phase could include sovereign funds and institutional investors, further cementing artificial intelligence as the defining capital battleground of global technology markets.
And the very important part is they're nearing 1 trillion in 2 years? 23 November was when ChatGPT launched, and now it's 26, and nearly 2.5 years, and they're nearly $850 billion worth. Nvidia took 2 decades to become a $1 trillion company. Microsoft has been here, I don't know, since before my birth sometimes, I think. They're at least 20 years old.
Yeah.
They just reached it. There's hardly 2 or 3 companies which you can name on your fingers who've reached the $1 trillion mark. All of those are listed, so we know. But privately, these are estimates. But even an estimate of $850 billion is too big.
It's absolutely exceptional. You remember that video of Khaldun al-Mubarak?
Yeah.
He was saying that he doesn't necessarily believe in the AI bubble, but for the valuations of certain companies, he doesn't understand them. But when it actually comes to OpenAI, and I know some of you are asking, what do you mean Gulf-backed? Who is investing in them? It's MGX. MGX was formed in 2023, and it was formed in partnership between G42 and I believe Mubadala.
Yes.
And you know what, Majid? The way that I honestly see it, us having a UAE-based company, a powerhouse, investing into OpenAI, I don't think that it just necessarily shows belief in OpenAI, because of course we can think of it like that. That means that, there is some certain kind of bullish sentiment going on. But honestly, what I'm thinking of is, if I'm paying Sam Altman, I'm giving that man money. Best believe I want him to come to the Middle East, come get his doctors from the MBZ University, the Mohammed bin Zayed Artificial Intelligence University that was established in Abu Dhabi. I want him to come and get that, right? I want that PR. I want him in the country. I want him to bring his team. I want him to, open headquarters. I think that's the purpose behind all of this. Of course, there is so much value to OpenAI, to ChatGPT. We're seeing they're going to make some centralized version for the UAE. Yeah. Honestly, have you seen this free version that they're telling us about, Majid? Yeah. How do I subscribe to that?
Eventually,
I don't know. I'm just like, where is this? Where is this free ChatGPT?
The idea is that once the Stargate UAE project, it's a little technical to understand. I'll try to simplify it as much as possible. So once Stargate UAE starts becoming functional, OpenAI is the first tenant. They'll host their data. They'll be the first one to host their data at Stargate UAE campus. So that way, that data is it's basically routing cost. So if the data center is in the US, building a system to route it to the UAE takes money. So an internet company, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but internet is free. Internet, the maker has copyrighted it to be free. You can't charge anyone for the internet. Your internet company charges you for the infrastructure that you use to gain access to that internet. So if you're using internet on your phone, the internet is free. The problem is that to get access to your internet, you need that SIM card, and those SIM card people need to put up a lot of infrastructure to bring that internet to you. So that's the point, that as soon as we get data right next to our door, we're in Dubai. Abu Dhabi is 1.5 hours away. With air taxi, it would be faster. With Etihad Rail, it will be 30 minutes. But it's right next to us in the city, and it's in the country. So that way, hosting data, your access to ChatGPT for OpenAI will become cheaper. So they're like, okay, we'll call it a subsidy of sorts and give you I think it was 3.5 or 4.0 version, which will be free for everyone to use. So that'll be great. That's the technical part of it. I don't know when it happens, we'll all know how to use it. Maybe UAE Pass would be the way.
I hope so.
Right?
I'm waiting.
We'll have a new login screen where you will sign in through UAE Pass, and you have free.
Honestly, it would help me save money, because I do have the premium membership, and I'm like, you know what, this would be helpful.
Yeah.
Right now, for our second story of the day, it's about Mubadala, and I'm noticing this, and I'm sure you are too, Majid. They're everywhere right now.
Yeah.
And in their newest move yet,
every day we have Khaldun al-Mubarak on our feed.
He's just everywhere.
Sometimes twice.
Yeah. So Abu Dhabi's Mubadala investment company has increased its exposure to Bitcoin, and it has raised its stake in ETF, I believe, to above $660 million. And this is in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF. According to these Q4 2025 filings, and this marks a 46% increase from previous holdings.
So Mubadala previously reported holding 8.7 million IBIT shares as of September 30. The latest disclosure shows a significant expansion of its position, signaling continued sovereign appetite for regulated crypto exposure through institutional vehicles such as BlackRock's Spot Bitcoin ETF.
Al Warda Investments RSC, another Abu Dhabi-based investor, also disclosed a $408 million stake in IBIT, representing 8.2 million shares. Combined, the two Abu Dhabi entities now hold approximately over $1 billion in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF.
And the Q4 positioning followed a sharp crypto market correction when roughly 19 billion in leveraged positions were liquidated in hours. This was the time when Bitcoin fell from 110 to 15 to $90,000 per Bitcoin. And that is when Mubadala bought it. Very interesting. Despite volatility, Abu Dhabi investors increased exposure, reinforcing a strategy focused on long-term participation. They don't want to just short it and buy it and sell it after 2 days or 2 months. They want to keep it as a digital asset for the future.
The move builds on broader crypto engagement from the Emirate, including MGX's landmark $2 billion investment deal with Binance last year, so formed in 2024, as I've previously mentioned. But I just think, honestly, with Mubadala, with what we're seeing right now, they definitely are making extremely strategic bets, and we see it with sort of the entire, I think, scuffle that's going on with Getir right now. So they're the Turkish-based company. So if you know about Getir, a few years ago in 2021, saying that date right now sounds so foreign to me. It seems so far away, like COVID time. During that time, Mubadala invested into this Turkish-based company. But it seems to be, honestly, that they had problems from the beginning, specifically from the two founders. And then come now, essentially what happened is, I believe, Getir got sold to Uber. They got sold to Uber.
Not the
and
full
then,
business, just the, I think,
Yeah.
delivery business. Because
Okay.
Getir was,
Yeah.
let's give you Kareem. It's the Kareem of Turkey. So they do food delivery, they have delivery business, they have express delivery service, they had cars on the road. So Getir was the Kareem of
Yeah.
Turkey. But they've sold the delivery business and I think the cars business to Uber.
No, but I think what's
Yeah.
so crazy is that the company that we're talking about, this is a company that was once valued at $12 billion. And then you have both of these founders. I know one of them, Nazim Salur, and you have both of them. Their business, some of their assets get sold off.
Yeah.
And then what do? They go to London and they sue Mubadala for, I believe, $400 million. Okay, listen. I'm not gonna lie to you, Majid, but low key, if it was like what? We're in 2026 now. I had a business that was valued at $12 billion. I have a lot of cash now. I'm not gonna burn my cash through a court case. Look, I don't really know. I don't really have any insider sources of what happened here, but from what you can see, it's you have these two founders who are saying, oh, when we sold the company to them, to Mubadala, there were some certain assets that were promised to us that we did not receive, or whatever it is. But my point here is that I think that the strategic decision is that if you have, your business is slowly being sold off more and more, so you're not really that important anymore. I would try to not maybe get on the nerves of my shareholders who are like, you know what, they don't even hold that much stake anymore. We can easily push them out.
Yeah.
And I would try not to waste my money in a court case. I feel like these can I mean, are you seeing what's going on in America with, what's it called? That book, that famous book, Majid, Colleen Hoover, with Blake Lively. And
yeah.
Why did I forget
I
the
read
name?
something
It's a
about it.
famous book. Oh my God, Blake Lively court case. No, I need to see this because I forgot. I know they're not the same thing. Like, we're talking about movie actors here, but you clearly see with the Blake Lively case, Majid, like, it continues. They have not stopped. Her and Justin Baldoni, and this is all over a film. This is all over a film by Colleen Hoover that was just meant to be some, like, I don't know, I won't say it like that. But anyways, I don't like the book. I'm not a fan of the book. But my point is that I would not waste my money in a court case. Like,
I think
Salim,
the only
don't do
problem
that.
here was
Yeah.
you said 12 billion. There was a point where it came down to 330 million. So
Wow.
from 12 billion to 330 million, Mubadala invested at a very good time. And the early days, I think it was not seed or pre-seed, it was Series A. It's very early
Yeah.
time. Mubadala invested. They sat on the board. They were happy with it. The problem was both the founders, they were fighting on the percentage of the shares. So that is why they say, even if you're doing business with your friend, always write everything down. What if
Amen.
something happens and you need to go back to
True
those
that.
percentages? The problem was between them, and also there's reports that one of the founders was just splashing money around. So Mubadala jumped in, they bought some of the shareholders' shares from other shareholders, basically. They bought their stake, became majority holder, and they were like, thank you very much, you guys are very good, great founders, made a great company. Here's your money at this valuation right now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, bye. That is where the founders became angry, because for them, they thought they will be paid out at $12 billion valuation, but the company had valued down. Obviously, the no delivery was being made, half of the business nearly shut down, and they were paid at the valuation of that time. They wanted money at a valuation of a higher time. So that is why they're angry and they're throwing court cases around because they want more money out of it.
$400 million court case? Then listen, if they have $400 million for a court case and to hire all these lawyers, I just give it up. Like I'd go to Istanbul, I'd drink my tea, I'd enjoy the rest of my life with my cows and my chickens.
Yeah, but they're not doing that.
Yeah.
They're suing Mubadala.
They're
but
definitely
Mubadala
not.
overall is doing great. They were the most active fund in the world last year,
Yes.
2025. They were the most active fund. By active, I mean they spent the most number of money, the most amount of money investing in the world. 2 years running, and most probably 2026 also, they will do the same.
But you know
they
what,
will be the
Majid,
most active one.
With Mubadala, I think when it comes to giving them credit, I don't even just think of it from an investor perspective or a money perspective, budget perspective in general. I think what Mubadala has done, what Khaldoon al-Mubarak has done, is that he courted these investors. Yeah. He actually built the bond with them so that they would want to come to the country. And when I say this, like I'm not saying anything bad about the country. I'm just trying to say if you know the way that the Western world thinks about the Middle East, it's not really exactly what's going on about the deserts, about the heat, whatever it is. So you had someone like Khaldoon who went to America, studied in an American university, and actually courted the investors there. I think that he's actually behind the long-term bond that they've especially built with Microsoft and BlackRock. So it makes complete sense what's going on. But I think right now the Saudi investment that they've just made, it's amazing.
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia's artificial intelligence company, Humain, has invested $3 billion in Elon Musk's xAI as part of its Series E funding round just before the AI startup was acquired by SpaceX. The move makes Humain a significant minority shareholder in the combined entity now.
Now, following the acquisition, Humain's stake in xAI was converted into SpaceX shares. The investment deepens Saudi Arabia's exposure to Musk's expanding technology ecosystem, linking the kingdom directly to advanced artificial intelligence development and private space infrastructure under a single consolidated platform.
And the investment builds on the partnership announced at the US Saudi Investment Forum with Mr. MBS, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, the sitting crown prince of Saudi Arabia, the de facto leader of Saudi Arabia, went to the US, where Humain and xAI committed to jointly developing 500 megawatts of artificial intelligence data center capacity. So they're building basically a data center together, signaling Saudi Arabia's intention to scale compute infrastructure alongside capital deployment.
In January, xAI raised $20 billion in an upsized Series E round to accelerate model deployment and infrastructure expansion as it competes with OpenAI and Anthropic. Now, the subsequent acquisition by SpaceX marked a strategic consolidation of Musk's artificial intelligence and aerospace ambitions, but really money ambitions, as now it's like over $1 trillion, the first we've ever seen.
Which one?
I think it's
SpaceX?
with the merger, all of it coming together.
It's 1.2 because 200 and something is xAI, yeah, and 1 trillion is SpaceX. It's too big. But yeah, by investing directly, Saudi Arabia is at the frontier of AI platforms and infrastructure. I think the whole idea is every Middle Eastern sovereign wealth fund has an AI champion now. QIA, Qatar's investment authority, has QAI, which is their national AI champion. Humain is Saudi Arabia's national AI champion. We have MGX as our national AI champion.
I would argue it's maybe G42.
MGX is a part of G42, so yeah. But there's one thing about G42 which I've realized like recently. It's impossible to know all the companies that work under G42. Please don't blame us. Yeah, the problem is G42 is not only into AI. We recognize it, and a lot of people recognize it for all the investments in AI. But they have a very nice sector where they're investing in health also. They have Core 42, which is, I think, chips. So they're creating chips.
Space 42.
Space 42 is listed and is under them, but it's listed also. So there's a lot of companies which come under G42. Yeah, their biggest, most like front-facing, the thing that they present to the world is the AI part. So MGX is, yes, G42 and Mubadala. So Mubadala itself is investing in AI. in a lot of things, but then they use MGX as a vehicle to invest in AI. So it's very interesting how all of this is wrapped up. You can't say it's G42 or MGX. It's the same thing because
most
G42
definitely
is
is.
part of half of MGX. Yeah.
But I think honestly, Majid, with all of this, it's like, you know how they tell you like there's different signs of wealth? You know, for some people, I feel like for Gulf people, it was like all these Gulf families traveling to London and spending their entire summer in London. And by the way, if you look at Getty Images, search Khalaf al-Habtour, you will find images of him and Queen Elizabeth.
The young times, right?
No, I'm being so serious. And they're all like playing golf.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're just like hanging out for like, you know, like I think Saturday tea or whatever. But it's kind of that point of you have that become a wealth sign of all these companies and all these people who go to London.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I think honestly travel has become a sign of wealth if you can go anywhere. And then now it's like for these AI companies, it's like they're shopping and they're shopping for AI. And it's like if you can have a stake with Elon Musk, like Al Walid bin Talal does, that's valued at $9 billion, meaning that the valuation is triple what Humain has.
Yeah.
But since Humain has done it now, the value will definitely be more in like 10 years. But it's kind of like it's a sign of wealth. It most definitely is that they can do all of this.
What we saw was like 40 billion for X
Yeah.
when he bought X. xAI was another company which was developing Grok. First X merged into xAI, so X disappeared from the picture. Now xAI has merged into SpaceX. So now if we want to talk about the company which is behind X and Grok, we have to say SpaceX, because SpaceX is the company which now runs xAI and X. So it's like he's taking the smaller blocks, and it's the Japanese doll, which is like $1 doll.
Yeah.
He's basically doing it in reverse, where he's taking the smaller doll, putting a doll, eventually he's making a doll. So most probably, actually before the SpaceX xAI thing, I remember me and Rich were somewhere at an event, and we were going to Qatar. We were at the airport, and we were talking about it. And he was like, "There's talks of Tesla," and I was like, "Yeah, there's talks of Tesla being merged with SpaceX because it makes sense. Both are mobility. One is cars, one is rockets." So then I think the next day it was announced in the morning that, oh no, it's SpaceX and xAI. So you're like, yeah, most probably Tesla soon too. Everything will become part of one giant company. The boring company most probably also.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes. That's doing the
The
Dubai
most
loop right now.
unknown business of Elon Musk is the boring company.
I don't know why he would call it that.
He was just bored and he made a company.
Literally, and I just think it's the fact that he knows, like, the marketing is him. He does not need anything else.
Yes.
And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. I hope that you all had an easy fasting day one.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. Big shout out to our more than 2 billion monthly listeners and our producer Kirby. He's twisting and turning in his chair. Thank you so much for handling us and listening to us every day. If you don't listen to us every day, he does. It's a very difficult job, but thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.